to Your Wealthy Self with me, Regina Martinelli. This show is about money and a whole lot more. Here we focus on you being able to expand your capacity for money, success, abundance, and inner wealth. For you to have what's most important to you inside and out so you can be your wealthy self. It's about honoring your wholeness, that you are enough just as you are, to have what's most important to you and to have the experience of yourself and of life that you want. And what's important to you might be the freedom to have more success and money without guilt or shame. Or maybe it's just really the ease in being authentically you, unapologetically, with more certainty in your sense of self and purpose. Or maybe you want more daily joy and fulfillment within yourself. But whatever it is, whatever you're up to creating for yourself, whatever makes you feel like you're both wealthy and inside and out, is what this show is about. Because I truly believe this, I know for sure. You can create whatever's important to you, and you can do it without struggle. You can do it with ease and certainty. So on that note, today's one of those days that this show's about the whole lot more. We have an amazing guest doing a second part with us because we had so much to cover. We are so excited to be able to dig in deeper into her work. My guest is Jamie from dreamgems.com. It's DREAMGEMZ.com. She's a mindfulness coach with experience. She's worked in trauma hospitals and skilled nursing facilities. So she has experienced a lot of, struggles that people are having and the energies that they go through and the mindsets that they feel. And she understands these struggles that we also go through mentally and physically. And as we found out last week, she is a wealth of information, not only on mindfulness, but how to create that moment of pause so that you can release other people's energies and come back to yourself, and how important it is to be in the presence of that moment. And I also love that she's very well steeped in her knowledge and experience in crystals. She has helped me put some crystal grids together that have been very powerful. So I am excited to talk to her about that today. So you'll really want to watch the replay of last week's episode as well as today's episode, because this is a two-part series with Jamie, and it will really make a difference for you in dealing with today's hectic, chaotic, overwhelming world to find some inner peace. So let's dive in again with Jamie. Hello, Jamie.
Thank you. I'm just so excited to be able to freely talk about crystals and mindfulness and all the things that light me up. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Isn't it beautiful to have something in your life that lights you up, that you just want to talk about and people want to listen?
Yeah, it's funny because I work in a hospital as a nurse. I work in a Catholic hospital, and sometimes I'll say something and we'll go off in this whole tangent about mindfulness or a crystal, and how it creates this connection of talking about something that lights us up. And I've had people be like, wow, thanks for having this conversation with me, because where I'm from, because I have a lot of staff that come from other states. It's not safe to talk about it there. You'd be judged, or I wouldn't feel comfortable. And so to openly be able to talk about crystals or woo-woo things, it makes me feel seen,
Yes. How beautiful. And then just because I know you are so incredible at seeing other people.
Thank you.
Yeah. And okay, so I do want to ask, because I don't think I know this story, and I apologize if you told me and I've forgotten, but how you were drawn to crystals in the first place.
Yes, that's a great story. Actually, when I was a kid, I was super into rocks, like all kids are, and crystals. And my aunt that lives nearby would always be bringing us rocks and crystals, and her house was full of crystals. But I was actually raised in a religion where it wasn't okay to talk about the energy properties of crystals or meditation or yoga or anything like that. So I kind of just let it be. And then as an adult, I talked about a little bit last episode, I got injured at work, and I was at home for about 2 years recovering from my injury. And when I went to go back to work, because when I was at home, I got used to not being around other people's energy. I really got to feel what my energy felt like. And so then when I was walking back and forth hospital is a trauma center, I could feel the intensity of the hospital and all of the patients and all the grief and the pain. And it was a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel good walking in. So I didn't want to go. And I'm like, how am I going to figure this out? Like, this is my career path. I am a nurse. Like, we walk into people's hardest moments of their lives every single shift on purpose. And so that's how I got into crystals, because I had started hearing about crystals, online and everything while I was at home. And I started being like, oh, I'm going to get a few crystals in my life. And so then I started researching, well, what crystals can I bring with me on my body to help protect me so that I can walk into that environment and not let it consume me, so that I can be there and like hold space for people and not leave feeling completely like torn apart from feeling everybody's hard moments.
That's so beautiful. And I can just feel into that. And it's such a more, I mean, as the world moves more toward like organic and, saving the planet, all these beautiful natural ways and natural fibers, you realize putting crystal on your body can help protect you versus the emotional veneer or guard as we clamp down our heart is actually way more, what I don't want to say, supportive of the natural world, of how our natural body is and how our energy flows, because I mean, this might sound like a tangent, but when you get shut down or scolded or like someone's like, and like, oh God, I can't deal with this. We start to do this versus I can stand here and let that person do their thing and let them be who they are. And I know that my energy is protected because I have this beautiful crystal here with me that its energy, its crystalline configuration is to protect from that. And so I don't actually have to do anything different than just be myself. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what and it was interesting because at first I was really nervous to bring crystals into a hospital, especially because it was a religious hospital and I didn't know what people were going to think or say. And I work on the units. And so as I'm a nurse case manager, so help with discharge planning. So I'm like in normal everyday clothing, but I'm talking to a lot of different people and I'm coordinating a lot of different things. And so things are you're constantly planning and it's constantly falling apart, like over and over again. And then when things fall apart, people get unraveled, because we all want things to work out, right? And so I started bringing crystals with me and putting them at my desk and setting intentions with the crystals to kind of help me protect my energy, so that I could be there and hold space for all these moments where things weren't going our way.
Mm.
And it was amazing how many fun conversations the crystals brought in. See, I was focused on, oh no, what are people going to think? Are they going to tell me to put them away? Is this going to be forbidden? And what happened was it actually opened up a whole bunch of fun conversations and like connections. And like I had some people come to me like, I actually have crystals in my pockets, but they never put them out because they were like, I didn't know what people would. It was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm so glad that by me putting mine out, like we made a connection and that you could feel that like that's, I mean, it's okay to do that. Like I'm gonna do it out loud where people can see it. And I started wearing some crystal necklaces because then I had the crystals at my desk, but when I walked into patient rooms, they weren't with me. And I had like a little fanny pack and I put some darker crystals, like the black ones are really good at energy protection. And so if I was going to go have a conversation with somebody, and a lot of times I'm giving them resources and guidance, but like it's their hard moment and they have to make a decision. And they oftentimes don't like either of the choices I'm bringing. I'd bring these crystals in and I'd help like ground my own energy so that I could just be there with them while they figured out their storm. I'm here to bring resources and here's some options that we see for you, and let them do their thing. And I realized that by bringing the crystals on my body and learning to calm my own energy for those moments, it was helping the patients and the visitors and the staff members regulate their own emotions.
Now, how would you say that happens? Is it because you become then an open space versus like if we bring tension in, we know when other people are tense, it makes us tense and then we kind of dance around it. But when you're in an open space and they're feeling tension, How does that help diffuse that?
You know, it's interesting because some people, when you're a really calm presence, it depends on what their background is. Some people get really, they'll get even more, and then you just kind of back away. And other people, it starts to calm them. And some people, I'll even, I can feel that they're super intense. And so I will take a deep breath so that they can hear me. I'll go like this, like in emotion. And all of a sudden you can see them. And I'm like, would you like to take a deep breath with me? Okay. And we're taking deep breaths.
Oh.
And all of a sudden it's like they can like start to release some of that tension.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get into a really hyper emotional state, you're in fight or flight mode. And we're trying to ask them to make like logical life decisions. And if you're worked up, it's not a time and a place for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've had situations where I've had family members where we're literally like the staff are calling security on them because they're getting so worked up and out of control. And I'll go in there and I'll be talking to them, and I can feel their anger, but I can feel that underneath that they're fearful and they're trying to like protect themselves or their loved ones to the best of their ability. And I've literally been like, would you like a hug right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had this like mom like give me a hug after someone else was calling security on her, and I'm giving her a hug and she starts crying in my arms, and I started crying with her because it was one of those moments where she was lashing out, and yes, staff felt threatened. But when I was in there in my calm state with my crystals trying to protect myself, being like, I can see the scared mother there that really hug at this moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. And I feel like if there was more people doing these types of practices, like what you're doing and holding that space in this way, where it doesn't take like this extra mental or physical, like I've got to hold the space, but like I just the knowing of I know I'm safe and I can have this space, I think people would there'd just be more peace, there'd be more ease in the world. Because I think you're right. She was probably, I don't know the situation, but she was probably very scared because underneath anger always is hurt or fear of some sort. Something that we love feels threatened.
Yeah. And so often, we get in reacting to someone else's reaction. It creates this huge snowball effect.
Yeah.
So it's like back to what last week about pausing, taking a deep breath and coming back into the moment and like letting, you know, emotions, can dissipate. You know what I mean? If you just pause long enough, they kind of dissipate a little bit. And then you're kind of like, okay, let's come back to this moment and see how we want to like move forward.
Yeah, that's so incredible. Now, you've mentioned something to me before about, crystals can't really affect people who don't believe in the power of crystals, right? Which makes sense. It's also like, um, if you don't believe something's possible, then it's not possible, right?
Right.
Whatever you think is true. So, um, so in that sense, for the people who do believe in like the power of crystals and the how they can affect and help you, how do you go about helping people find the right crystals for them, or even go through the process of thinking about what they might use or be attracted to?
Yeah, it's really, that's a great question because honestly, it's always like one of the first questions people ask me when they find out I have a ton of crystals. They're like, "Okay, which one do I need for?" And they start spewing off some things. And I always like to like smile at them and be like, "All right, so here's the thing with crystals. Like just like everything in life, like some people will tell you these crystals have these properties and these, and you can get very analytical. But I was like, but what I was taught by another wise woman was to really pause and like come into the moment. And if there's a whole bunch of crystals, like you're at a crystal store, which crystal is speaking to you? Like which one are you drawn to? Without reading all the signs, you can just walk into a crystal store and gaze around and maybe ask yourself inside, like, what am I seeking? And whichever one really is speaking to you, like that is what you need in that moment. And as I say, in that moment, because you might not need that crystal forever, but in that moment, for whatever reason, and you can look up the information on that crystal and say like, oh, that's why it relates to me. But sometimes you can look up that information and be like, well, that doesn't really relate to me, but I'm still really drawn to this crystal. And it's like, it's like the surrendering. Like, I don't know why, but this crystal and I, we're giving each other some confidence right now, and that's all I need, and 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 so it would actually open up this other aspect of what my husband and I created. Was like we were creating this crystal rental business and crystal grid rentals, where we would let people borrow our crystals for like a monthly thing and then return them when they were done. And it's because we don't always need one crystal forever, like sometimes we just need it for like this season of life or this one thing we're going through. And then you'll hear people be like, well, I don't know what to do with it, or I can't afford to buy all these big crystals. And also like the sustainability, like we all don't need a ton of crystals in our house. Like what if we had like a library of crystals where you could just walk in and be like, this is the one talking to me today. Like that's my vision for crystals, and and honoring earth and not trying to be materialistic and having everything. It's like, how can we just spend time with this crystal for a little while and then pass it on to somebody else and they can spend time with the crystal. So I have a ton of crystals in my house. So I actually like rotate them around. And I've actually had some crystals where like I'll walk into a room like, this crystal just doesn't want to be here right now. And I text some of my friends like, hey, anyone want to hang out with this crystal, And it's like, sometimes they just want to leave and come back. And it might sound weird, but like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just the way it is. Like the crystals have different energies, and it's kind of like, we all have different energies, and sometimes like you want to listen to that rock song, or sometimes you really want to listen to that country song, and sometimes that country song comes on, you're like, ew, I can't believe I've ever listened to this before. But other times you're like, oh, I need to hear that song right now because like it's relatable to you in that moment, and like you just feel really heard in a deeply manner. That's how crystals are for me.
Right. Oh, I love that. And it kind of reminds you, like when you say, like, this crystal doesn't want to be here right now. It's almost like feng shui, or like when you're in your house, like, this chair is like, it bugs me because it's right here and I can never get around it. There's something, doesn't flow with it. And then someone or something happens and you move it and you're like, oh, this whole place changes. And it's kind of the same thing where you're just also listening to that connection of knowing that is vibrating at the energy of that object as well. What a gift. What a gift you have. And I have to say, I have seen her room of crystals and her house of crystals. It is amazing. If you get a chance, you definitely, definitely want to rent some crystals from her. Again, she's at dreamgems.com. Amazing. And don't you have some crystals that you've made that like you sell and that people can have as ornaments and reminders? Show us some of those.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yes. So I actually, this last holiday season, created crystal ornaments, which you can actually hang anywhere in your house.
Click on you. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Can you see me? Here we go. There's my camera. So it's wire wrapped in a crystal. And I created it around Christmas time to make them as crystal ornaments to hang on trees, because my husband and I always had this joke of like, if I could decorate my tree, I would decorate it in crystals. And then it was like, well, how do you get crystals to hang on a tree? So I started wire wrapping them to hang some crystals on my tree. And I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like we could like sell these and sell a card with them that would help people like learn how to set intentions with crystals. And like how special to like start a tradition with, kids and family members of like, here's this beautiful crystal, and here's a card with how you can set an intention for like what you're calling in. And then like every day when you greet your crystal at your Christmas tree, you're like thinking about that intention that you set for it. And every year you could set a different intention. And so it just became this really fun little hobby that we were doing. And I think my favorite part was how many moms were telling me they were buying the crystal ornaments for their kids, and how much that filled my soul, because I was like, wow, like not only these kids getting like this really, handmade item, but they're getting this gift of like learning how to set an intention, or, whatever you want to call it, setting a goal for like, hey, I would really like to call in more laughter, and focusing on it and then hanging it up. And then every time they see it, they can be like, oh, that's the crystal that's helping me calling in more laughter today. Um, and so, yeah, it's just like a fun little hobby that I created. And I've actually made them for like people for baby showers. Like I've wrapped different crystals, like to resemble like the umbilical cord and in the womb, and like setting positive intentions for, you know, the mom to be and the baby to be, and just how much beauty and depth comes with childbearing.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's
Oh, I think
incredible.
you're paused.
Oh, am I back on?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Let's see. Now I'm back. Can you hear me now? Well, I just have to say, I can hear me.
No,
Oh,
I can't hear.
okay, let's see. How's that? Can you hear me now? Well,
Oh no.
I'm sure it's happening. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I love the ornaments for the show. Let's see. And you said you can't hear me. Is that right? Okay, I'm gonna hide.
Where'd you go? Oh no.
I'm here.
I can't hear you.
No worries. No worries.
Totally mute.
I
I don't know if you can hear me.
can't.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Oh goodness.
But so wonderful. So let me see. I'm gonna type something in the chat. But I highly recommend these ornaments and these crystals that she has. I can't wait to buy one as a tooth fairy gift for my son. And I can say this on this show because my son is not allowed to watch screens at the age of 6. So I'm going to get one of your crystals for a tooth fairy gift because he loves crystals. And how fun to put on a Christmas tree. Well, darn it, I'm so sad. Let's see if we pop you off. Um, oh, I can hear you. You still can't hear me, huh? Is that better? Nope. I'm going to try. Okay. I'm going to hide her from the screen.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we will have to say goodbye to Jamie. And just because we can't, if we can't chat with her, but I have to say, what fun, and such deep depth and wisdom that comes from her. And I love hearing about how she uses crystals. And again, like she said, if you go into a crystal shop, it's about where's your attention go? You're like, oh my God, that's a beautiful color. I just love that shape. And then picking that up and seeing how it feels in your hand and how it connects to your heart. And if that's the one for you, then get it. And then read what it signifies later. Because crystals also hold and carry energy in the most beautiful way. I have some around me, always at my desk as I do this because it's a lot of fun. And I've used her crystal grids, which have been incredible. I can feel the difference in my house. So I highly recommend it. Again, you can find Jamie at www.dreamgems.com, DreamGemz.com. And if you got something from today's show, please share it. There's enough fear in the world, so let's create more joy. And I want to help you get the support you're seeking. So if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle, please email my team at yourwealthyself@e360tvlive.com. Love to get those. And if you know you need more support and you're willing to invest in yourself and your future, make some changes, you can go to reginamartinelli.com and we can explore ways to work together. I have a course, I have one-on-one work, and you can go there and just book a little information meeting with me. But make sure to tune in next week as we continue to use money as a lens to revise the old beliefs holding you back from having more clarity, freedom, prosperity, self-worth, appreciation, and daily joy in whatever is most important to you. I love and adore you. You are an incredibly beautiful and precious being. And please know you are enough just as you are.